While you and I were wrapping up winter out here at Gale Woods Farm, they've already had sheep shearing, they've started maple syrup production, and they've planted so many of their vegetables, onion, spinach, broccoli, peppers, and more. So we're here today with the Three Rivers Park District Commissioner Penny Steele, and she's going to tell us about Gale Woods Farm and what you'll find out here. Penny, thanks for joining us today.
Nice to be with you.
Tell us about who you are and a little bit about yourself.
I'm Three Rivers Park Commissioner. I represent District 1, which is Minnetrista, where Gale Woods Farm is, and the western parts of Hennepin County, suburban Hennepin County. And I've represented the District 1 since 2012. I was elected.
Okay. Great. Well, I'm really glad you could join us.
Thank you.
So you're the expert here.
Well, maybe.
Well, maybe. And then we have other experts too.
Real
experts.
So
tell me about the history of the park, because I think that's interesting. It's a relatively new park, isn't it?
It is one of our newer parks. It around the late 1990s, the Gale family approached the Park District to say that they would like to donate this land to the Park District, and we were very grateful for that. And in 2003, Three Rivers Park District opened this park, and it's actually they've kept it a working farm, you know, in response to this great gift.
Well, it's really beautiful out here. I noticed the rolling hills, and I know there was glacial action out here, and there's also prehistoric Indian mounds. So I wonder if that's some of what we're looking at. If you come out here, you'll just be really just blown away by the scenery out here. It's so pretty. Yeah. And what kind of programs and events do you host out here?
Well, of course, you know, the emphasis is the working farm. So lots of animals, farm animals, from birth through the whole farming process. And so every Saturday there is a Saturdays on the farm, and so people can come out and go at their own pace. They can help with chores. You can do it different ways, but the Saturday at the farm program is available and pretty purposeful in what they do. But there's lots of things that people can do on their own.
Is there a fee for the programs?
I believe there's a $5 fee for the Saturdays on the farm. Okay. And then they have other programs for adults, like making brick ovens to bake bread in.
Really?
Yeah, and there's the sapping for the syrup, lots of different things. So anything that sort of piques your curiosity around farming, you can probably find out about it at Gale Woods Farm.
Interesting. Well, I noticed that with the sheep shearing, they also had spinning classes, and I'm not sure what other wool processing classes too, but lots of really interesting things related to that.
Yeah, they really do try to keep this, I mean, part of the mission of Three Rivers Park is really education. And so to make sure that people have educational availability around the theme of each of our regional parks, that Gale Woods Farm clearly is that about farm education, connecting people with how their food is produced, mm-hmm. and letting them see a working farm. A lot of people, you know, Minnesota has a great farm history, but a lot of people now are like me, growing up without being from a farm.
Disconnected from that.
Yeah,
yes.
So this is a chance to get reconnected with that, or connected for the first time.
Well, you mentioned coming out here and helping with the animals. Are there volunteer opportunities out here?
There's lots of volunteer opportunities with Three Rivers, both with the animals. I know we've had volunteers who help with the lambs come in and we recognize them, and through all the farm activities and throughout Three Rivers. So I encourage people to check it out, because if they have a little time to give, it's a wonderful place to volunteer.
That's excellent. I noticed you had a newsletter for volunteers, and it has all the information about it, which
it does.
Probably online.
Yep. And if you can't find it, give us a call and we can help you track down any information you need about that.
Great. They could go on the Three Rivers Park District or Gale Woods Farm.
Right. Either one. Somebody will be able to help them get the answers they need, but we would love to have them.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'd love that. So let's talk about other news within the park system. Is there anything else we need to be aware of that's coming up this summer?
Well, the Park District has just added some additional boat inspections for the Lake Minnetonka Conservation District. Excellent. On 4 of the bays on Lake Minnetonka to try to get at invasive species and help with that problem. And, you know, Three Rivers is partnering with them to do that. And so that's a really important thing that that we are participating in. We're also, the foundation has purchased a van, and it's Parks on the Go. And people in the western suburbs may not realize, but that the suburban Hennepin County taxpayers are really the people whose taxes support this park system. And so New Hope, Crystal, Golden Valley, a lot of inner ring suburbs, we have don't have a park per se in their local area. So the Parks on the Go were really created. The foundation purchased the van, and we will be out at festivals again. We were at Duck Duck Days in New Hope last summer and several other festivals, and they will be doing that again and they bring chicks, they bring lots of little things that were a great hit last summer. So we're hoping to expand that and let everybody get a taste of Three Rivers Park.
Well, that's very exciting. I'll look forward to seeing that at some of the festivals. And Penny, we really want to thank you for taking time out to stop by today.
Sure, my pleasure. Thank you.
Well, spring's a great time to get out to Gale Woods Farm and meet farm animals. And if you come out here, you're going to see the most relaxed chickens and the friendliest lambs. And we're going to talk to Tim Reese. He's the farm supervisor out here. I don't go on Facebook very often, but when I did go to the Three Rivers Park District Gale Woods Farm Facebook page, it's the prettiest Facebook page out there. That I saw a chicken hatching, I saw a baby cow being born, I saw the gardens, and I actually saw something that I was pretty amazed by, and that's a guard llama. Well, here's Tim Reese, and he's going to talk to us about the animals. And Tim, guard llama? Do you still have a guard llama out here?
The guard llama is actually a seasonal employee, so she's just here in the summertime. We have year-round Great Pyrenees dogs that guard our livestock on pasture. And in summer, when the pastures are a little more widespread and the animals are farther out, we need to bring a llama in addition to protect the sheep primarily from things like coyotes or stray dogs.
Sure. Does the llama get along with the dogs?
The llama has been in with the dogs occasionally, but usually they're working different pastures, so they're typically not together.
Okay, because I know there are issues with llamas too, aren't there, as far as behavior?
Yes, llamas can be very aggressive. That's why they're good guard animals. They kick and they spit, actually, is how they protect livestock. So
interesting.
Yep.
That's an awful thought, isn't it? So how many sheep do you have out here?
Right now we have about 27 adult sheep. We have 19 pregnant ewes that are in the process of lambing. Actually, I should say we only have 14 pregnant ewes because 5 of them have had their babies in the last few days. So we're right in the middle of lambing season. It's a busy time here on the farm in April.
I can imagine, yeah. So the sheep industry, is that like a viable industry today with the scale that people would have to use to make it a good industry?
There are not a lot of sheep ranches or farms that are making their living completely off of selling meat and wool from sheep, and most of them are located in the west where there's larger areas for grazing or even on public lands. Small flocks in the Midwest are becoming a little more common, and people there are selling wool and fiber directly to consumers, and typically they're selling meat directly to the consumers as well, which is what we're doing. So we're pretty small scale and we do a bit of everything. So the sheep are just one part of the larger diverse farm that we manage here.
Do you do anything with sheep milk?
No, actually we let all the lambs nurse, and the milk is used solely for raising the lambs. So we don't make cheese or do anything with the milk. But there are some artisanal sheep dairies that do make really good cheese in Minnesota.
Oh, okay. So this farm is, it's a good size actually. If I were a family, we could probably live off this farm, is that correct?
Well, this is an interesting farm in that it's about 410 acres, but a majority of it is forest and wetlands and really nice wildlife habitat. And the Gale family, who donated the property to Three Rivers Park District, really always managed it as a hobby farm because we don't have big flat open land like you see in the western part of the state for raising row crops. So we do a lot of pasture raising of animals. All of our animals are raised on pasture, and we raise our own hay, but we don't really have any suitable land for raising any cash crops or grain. So in that respect, it's a big farm, but it's mostly a park, and it's mostly sort of beautiful parkland for people to enjoy.
Mm-hmm. But in a sense, it's more like a working farm than it would be a zoo or
Yes.
a display.
Yes, from the time we opened, we very intentionally have made this a working farm. All of the products and animals that we raise here are sold to the public. So we have a community-supported agriculture venture where people get subscriptions in the farm to get vegetables. We sell all of our meat and our fiber and our honey and our eggs through the store right here on site. So when the kids come and meet the farm animals, we make it very clear that these animals are used for food, and that's why they're here. And they're not pets and they're not zoo animals, but they're farm animals, and they have a job to do.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. How many cows do you have out here?
Right now we have about 28 cattle, and 13 of those are cows that will be having calves this coming year. We have 9 steers that will go to market this year, and then we have 11 calves that were born last year that it takes about 20 months for them to get to market weight, so they'll go to market next year. So kind of a whole mix of ages there.
So do you sell the beef here?
We sell the beef here, yep.
Interesting. Oh, and it would be then grass-fed?
Yep, our cattle are all grass-fed, so they only get grass on pasture and then hay that we produce here on the farm.
And pork, do you also?
We do. We have pigs here as well, and the pigs are raised in rotation with our gardens, so the pigs actually help dig up the garden. In an off year, we'll plant a cover crop of radishes and turnips, and the pigs dig through that, help eliminate weeds, and help fertilize the gardens. So they're raised on pasture, and they do get grain. They get grain that we purchase from off farm, but they're pasture raised, and it's a little different than most of your factory hog farms.
Okay, and then your chickens really are beautiful. Do you have like different kinds on display here, or?
We do, yeah. We have about 150 laying hens in 2 different flocks, one that's in the barn and the other that's in a portable coop that follows the cattle on pasture.
Oh, that's
and we have about 6 different breeds of chickens, so people can see the different colors of feathers, and actually one of the funnest things is the different colors of eggs. So if you buy eggs here, you'll get brown and you'll get white and you'll get bluish green eggs from all the different breeds of chickens that we have.
They really are happy chickens.
Yes.
Yes.
They get taken well care of.
I can tell. And now let's talk about the CSA. How much land do you have in gardening?
Yeah, we have about 4 acres in garden production, and at any one time about 1 acre of that is fallow and being used with a cover crop to improve soil fertility. So we're gardening on about 3 acres at a time, and that's enough for us to provide subscriptions to about 70 shareholders that get enough vegetables for a family of 4. Every week during the growing season. And we also sell vegetables to a couple of local restaurants and to the Minnetonka Public School District. We have a farm-to-school program where we're selling produce to their cafeteria and then doing some education with the kids around the vegetables that they're being eaten in their cafeteria.
And then I know you've got some really amazing food events. I looked at I think you had one on Valentine's Day, and then you've got one coming up in August, which is a brunch, which is supposed to be really, really fine. Is that locally grown food?
Yep, the August program is our Breakfast on the Farm event, and that's not all product that was grown here, but we do purchase it all from farms within 100 miles. And so it's a full brunch, and we have lots of activities for families, and it's become kind of a traditional event for a lot of families. They come back year after year to join us for Breakfast on the Farm in August.
Right, and if you're a foodie, I hear that it's really, really fine food. So, well, I don't know. Is there anything else you think we need to know about the farm?
Well, I think while we were sitting here talking, some of our ewes, some of the mother sheep came out, and these are some that are going to be having lambs in the next couple of weeks. And there are some lambs that were born inside the barn last week, and I could bring one out
that'd be great.
to meet you if you'd like. Okay.
Thank you, Tim.
I'll be right back.
Hello. Hello. Hi. Tim, who's this?
This is one of our lambs that was born. She's actually 4 days old. She's from a set of twins that was just born last week. And she is actually named C6. We named them so we can remember when they were born. So this is the year of C as the ear tag it'll get, and she was the 6th lamb born this year. Over the course of the summer, she will have many different names because every group of summer campers that comes out gets to adopt a lamb and learn how to lead them and do a 4-H style show at the end of their camp. And they each get a name each week from the child who adopts them for that week. But we purposely don't name them because they're part of our meat flock, and it's easier to say goodbye to C6 than it is to Gertrude. Yeah. So she's one of our lambs that was born this year. We'll have about 40 total lambs born from our ewes, and people can come out and see them during our public program events. And every Saturday morning from 9:30 to noon, we do what's called Saturday Morning on the Farm, where through the season from April through September, people can come out and take part in whatever activities are happening out here, from meeting the baby animals to helping move them onto pasture to working in the garden, collecting eggs, all kinds of different things. So Saturday mornings are a great time for people to come out and see the animals.
Great. So it's a great hands-on experience here where you can really learn a lot about farming and gardening and really responsible methods for dealing with issues. Thank you for joining us, C6. And thanks, Tim.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank Penny and Tim for joining us today, and we want to encourage you to check out this lovely destination. It's a real treasure, and it's right here in our community.